As I sprinted through the halls of my church, running late, I spotted one of my favorite people, Quentin, or Q as he was affectionately known. I thought about making a beeline towards him, and then I remembered how late I was. But it was too late. He already saw me. His arms open wide and motioned for me to come closer. He smiled, and it grew more contagious. I laughed, shrugged my shoulders, and prayed for forgiveness for my tardiness as I ran over. We hugged briefly, but it was just long enough for me to catch his joyful energy. I ran to the sanctuary and sat down ready to hear the word, not knowing that that would be the last time I'd ever hug or speak to my friend again. We often hear phrases like, life is short, make the most of it while you can, and the obnoxious, YOLO. But how often do we really take the time to appreciate the life we're living? This is something Q did every day, and he made you know it. Not only that, he made you wonder, what's really up with this dude? Well, there were three things. He loved the Lord with everything he had. He loved his wife just as much, and he loved life as much as the two combined. What made him so magnetic and intriguing was he was unashamed to express his love for these three things. I met him one Sunday after church. At the time, I didn't know why, I just knew I had to meet him. The heart and mind he had for Christ was so unambiguous, it was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. He wasn't a Bible banger, he didn't hit you over the head with it, he didn't throw holy water on you or cast a fiery judgment. He was gentle, but he was so sure of the word, it just made you wonder, who is this God he serves? And he was active in almost every ministry at church you could be. Q made you want to come to church. He always gave an encouraging word and a gentle sense of accountability, not just to his church family, but to anyone off the street who would listen, even those who didn't want to listen. He was always talking to someone new at church. I remember one of my last conversations with him, I expressed a fear of failure as a reason I wasn't making a career move. And he said to me, when you're not walking in your purpose, God will make it impossible for you to do anything but what you are called to do. That's what I loved about him. Every time we spoke, I always left more motivated, more inspired, but more importantly, with more faith than when we started. It was this faith that made him love his wife the way he did. Q loved him some utopia, and everybody knew it. You never saw one without the other. They were a pair, a package duo. He really loved her presence. And the beautiful part, we all loved it too. They even coordinated their wardrobe. Not in a cliche type of way, but in that, that's my better half, complimentary kind of way. He really had a respect and admiration for her. Anytime they spoke of an activity or an invite, it was always the wife and I, or let me double check with the wife. He really appreciated her opinion. His eyes lit up anytime she walked in the room or crossed his path. The way he looked at her in candid moments is something I could never forget. It was the type of love God put his hand on. It was this love for his wife and God that allowed him to live his life the way he did. They did face trying and tragic times, but his faith made him able to share these times with a real smile on his face and confidence in God that he liked to call Godfidence. They faced a financial hardship, but it only increased his hope and faith. He continued to tithe, and not only were they able to make ends meet, they were able to start a business doing what they love most, helping others. Unfortunately, his wife miscarried their first child, but when he spoke of this, he spoke of it from a place of peace and love, and a year later they became pregnant with their first boy. He loved to share this testimony of faith. Unfortunately, he passed away February 7th of this year, but God kept his promise. His wife gave birth to their son, June 17th, Father's Day. Q left this earth better than it was. His funeral was anything but. It was truly a celebration of his life, filled with love and joy. He left an incredible memory and a standard for all of us to live by. The love that he had for his wife was not only something to be admired, but hoped for and something to strive for. Our bishop quoted this scripture at his homegoing service. You are the light of the world. A house built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and hide it under a bowl. Rather, they set it on a stand, that it may provide light to everyone in that house. In the same way, shine your light before others, that they may see your good deeds and give glory to the Father in heaven.